All right, hello, welcome back, everybody. My name is Justin. Most people call me GDT. Thank you for joining the channel. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free for you. It means a whole lot to me. Today, we're taking 4 trades. Really good Monday today. Really good start to the week. We're going to show you all the trades here today in this video. I am only trading the first 3 days of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I will not be here Thursday and Friday this week. We'll remind you again on Wednesday, but let's get into it. Let's trade. All right, first trade of the day here was on Tesla. You can see the negative intensity scanner was just absolutely lighting up to start the morning today as everything was selling off coming out of the weekend. More Russia, Ukraine. Bad news pretty much all over the place. Not much going on the good side there. So a lot of things dipping here out of the opening gate. And I was watching Tesla here. You can see Tesla opened around 790. No, I'm sorry, 786, and it's now dipped all the way down into the 760s. So I go ahead and start long here, 10 shares at 1067, looking for a nice flush down if it wants to keep moving on the downside. Looking for closer to 760, and actually makes a pretty nice push here. Gets down to 763. I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get down below those 763s. It wasn't able to do it initially, so I don't get any kind of an ad on that first candle where we bought in. It starts popping up and it gets pretty much right up to my average here. So I'm like, okay, if this thing probably pops up through the 770s, probably take this one off, ideally 772-ish, because we didn't get the bottom of that candle by about 4 or 5 points or so. So if it gets up into there on this initial position, we'll take off the whole thing and look to re-go if it wants to continue moving. But it starts getting some resistance there right on my entry, which is always fun, and we're gonna see it start to move back to the downside here. So only in 10 shares. Always take Tesla very easy for this reason, so that if I don't get it right, I have plenty of room to add into my position to get it right. So you can see it starts dropping more here down below 762, and that's when I click the add button. Get a fill there at 762 for 10 more shares. Now have 20 shares at an average of 764.50, and this is when we're going to look to start amping up the share size on the ads a little bit if it wants to keep going. Ideally a nice fall down through the 760s, and we want to see a multiple point fall through that, because that is the whole number there at 760, not 761 or something like that. A lot of times, especially with Tesla, when you have those whole numbers, they'll get a multi-point fall through those whole numbers when it's got a lot of momentum to one side or the other. So I'm looking for that type of fall here on Tesla through 7060, ideally down 758. It starts coming down nicely here, 759, 758. There's 758. I'm watching it here. There's through 758. I go ahead and add in 20 more shares there right below 758. So we now have 40 shares long, at 761.22. And I'm looking at it here, I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get this bounce back up towards 764. If we get 764, I'll take 30 of the shares there and look to get another 10 of the shares, the final 10 up around 767. And that'll be a nice win if we can get both of those fills here on this long Tesla trade. So a few minutes goes by and it's getting close to getting that 30 share fill here at 764. Trying to see if you can get it. I'm getting slightly nervous that it's going to bounce just off of below that 764 range and then move down further. But we're only in 40 shares, so overall we're looking pretty good here on Tesla. Just waiting to see if it can get up and get me the fill here at 764 on those 30 shares, which would then bring us down to 10 shares, and those 10 shares would be averaged off the bottom, not the top or the middle. So looking to make some money here on Tesla. It starts popping up again, and there's the fill at 764 with 30 of the shares, down to 10 shares left here. Ideally hoping to get those up a bit further and make some good money on those 10 shares coming off of 758. So we're already up, 8 points here or so on Tesla with those 10 shares. If we can get it up a bit higher here would be real nice. But I start looking at the market. The market had rebounded here and then was all of a sudden taking a pretty big dip to the downside. So I'm like, okay, if Tesla can't push up higher here and it starts to show some weakness, I'm probably just going to cover this one out, sell this one out. So used to being short. And that's what I do there with the remaining 10 shares for $105 on the Tesla long trade. So I will take that. Enjoyed it. Next trade was mRNA. This was several minutes later. You can see this thing was making a big move throughout the morning, and I was watching it here, finally putting in a bit of an extension candle. It's hitting into the 30s there on the intensity scanner below my head. So I go ahead and get 30 shares short at 157.50, and I was willing to add into this one up through the 160s, which is why we're only in 30 shares here on mRNA. Several minutes goes by and it did not get up there and it starts coming down, so I'm looking for 20 shares here. If we can break down through 156, I will take 20 shares off, and just like Tesla, leave 20 shares on, except this one is short where Tesla was long. So looking to see if it can make that move down through 156. Not going to sit the order there, going to wait and see if it can happen and possibly get a fast move for a better fill. You never know. So it's hanging out right there. I click the button and I get it just below 156. Unfortunately, it didn't go faster through it than that, but I've got 10 shares left and I'm going to look for those down through 155, another point lower. And that pretty much happens within the next minute. So you can see it coming down here towards the SMA. If it gets through 155, I'm going to click the button. There it is. Get the fill. Plus 55 bucks there on mRNA on the short. Always want to be a little bit more careful on this one because it has the tendency to run. Then we go on to HFC. You can see this thing's popping up nicely here. It's starting to get into the high teens on the intensity scanner. It's pushing up towards 37. I'm looking for a nice move towards 37 here on HFC if it can do it, especially if you can do it quickly. You know I love the speed. The faster and bigger the move, the weaker the trend. And there it is. We're up to 37. I go ahead and short it at 36.98, and I'm looking to add on this one. It gets up towards 37.50, 37.40 at least would be the next add here on HFC, but it is not able to get up there. So a few minutes later, I'm looking for below 36.50 on half of the shares. If I can get below 36.50, I'll take half off. There it is, and I will leave the other half on, looking for a move back down towards 36 ideally. This one was a little bit lighter on the volume, so I was having a little bit of trouble reading it. A few minutes goes by, and it's kind of bouncing off of the 36.40s, and I'm like, all right, if this thing looks like it's about to bounce up, get back up through the 36.50s, I'll just cover it out, and that's what I do there for plus 42. Now, unfortunately, about 20 to 30 seconds later on this one did drop down towards 36 over the next few minutes. So got a little impatient here on HFC, but adding another 42.50 to the day, and we're getting up over that $200 range when Tesla makes a nice dip to the downside. You can see it was all the way up at 800. Now it's coming down to 780, coming down to the VWAP on a nice extended candle. Looking to see if I can get under 780 for a long position here. So I'm long Tesla again, 10 shares at 779.96. And this is a little bit different of a trade because it's within the range. It's market's kind of bouncing back and forth, not too sure what it's doing, so I'm just looking for a little scalp win to add to the day on this one. If it can get up to 782, I will look to take Tesla off and just book the win. So it's pushing up here. It's through 782. I wait for a second just to see if it can make a nice stronger push up through 782 there. It's not doing it, so I go ahead and click the button, get the fill at 782, and I've added $20 more to Tesla on the day. So there you have it. There's 4 for 4 on the day, plus 220 something after commissions and all that. So pretty good way to start the week. I will take that kind of day every single day. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you want to use the scanners that you see me using in this video to find all the trades, make sure you check the link in the description below and use code GDTISW to get 20 to 30% off your subscription every single month. I'll see you later.